Make sure we're live. And we are. What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Offensive Line Podcast. Joined today by two members, Casey, my hat's crooked. Casey, Patrick, and Lisa Chain. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All thumbs up here. So I titled this one "The Preseason's Coming," but we might not even talk that much football. The biggest news of the day is probably Quenton Nelson, but before we address that, I figure we talk a little bit about Carson Wentz going down 5 to 12 weeks with a foot injury. Also, Quenton Nelson ended up having the same injury, so that's pretty crazy. But also, 5 to 12 weeks is a vastly different time scale. Like 5 weeks puts him there, like what, right before the preseason starts? I think it's 6 weeks away.
The regular season?
Yeah, regular season, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6 weeks away. So I put him right at the beginning of the regular season. And then 12 weeks, that's what, 6 weeks into the season?
Week
Yeah.
6. Just depends on how their bodies heal.
Yeah, that's such a huge difference, and that's big for the Colts too, especially now that Quenton Nelson has the same injury. You know, if they come back, if Quenton Nelson comes back after Carson, then I mean that's still a good offensive line, but that's not nearly as good.
No, and you know the Colts are going to try and rush him back. So I mean that could lead to more problems later on in the season too. You know, if you re-injure it before you're really ready to go. So that's really bad for them. Also, if they are out for any type of time, I'd have to change my division winner pick. But
Yeah,
other than that, I think best case scenario for them probably is 5 weeks. Um, I I don't know. I had seen something about surgery possibly already, or maybe they're going to. I don't know. But when surgery's has anything to do with it, you could be out for a long period of time, and that would be bad for either one of those guys to be out for the Colts.
Yeah, not everybody can be Adrian Peterson and come back from an ACL in 8 months.
Adrian Peterson isn't human. He's not human.
no, definitely not. But yeah, I mean, having surgery that makes a big difference on the time scale, obviously. So hopefully, him and Carson Wentz, Quenton Nelson and Carson Wentz, have a speedy recovery for just good football's sake. But if you're a Titans fan, you're probably hoping for 12 weeks, right, Casey?
I mean, realistically, I think the bottom line for me as a Titans fan is offensively, I think we're better, and defensively, if we don't suck, I think we're a better team overall. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think if Kyle was on here, he'd tell you he wants them to be out for like the next 12 years. But I mean, I really don't hope they're injured. I just hope in the aspect of the Titans, I hope the Titans just don't suck and can go out there and play football like they should. But I think if you're a Colts fan, you should be seriously worried because I thought Carson Wentz was going to be pretty good. Everybody knows Quenton Nelson is one of, if not the best offensive lineman in all of football. So they're in a pretty rough spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were very hopeful for Carson Wentz's comeback, and even Eagles fans were kind of hoping he'd do well because that means they get the first round pick. Carson Wentz doesn't play 70% of the games, and the Colts don't go to the playoffs. Then the Eagles get a second round pick instead of a first round pick. So more than one team is hoping for Carson Wentz to come back as soon as possible.
Well, in worst case scenario for the Eagles too is Carson misses like half the season, and then the second half of the season he plays like an MVP. So they still get a second round pick, and the Colts get the better end of the deal. So,
Yeah.
which if you're an Eagles fan, I think you kind of know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome actually. Hopefully he comes back in balls.
Eagles fans are douchebags anyway, so it wouldn't bother me if that's what happened. I just don't want them to beat the Titans.
Well, the thing I keep hearing too about Colts training camp is that a lot of people are excited to see Jacob Eason. To me, if they thought that he was worth it, they wouldn't have traded for Carson. So that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm sure Jacob Eason has the arm talent. He always did. It's just everything else I think that goes around it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that have arm talent, and Eason's definitely a guy that can throw the ball. As a volunteer fan, I know that, but he's what scares me about Eason is I'm a big fan of Eason, but obviously in the NFL, there's a lot of other things like you said that go on that as a quarterback. I mean, you got to be able to read really complicated defenses. You got to be able to have your offensive line set up the way they need to be. Audibles, just about every offense. I think every team now goes up to the line with 2 plays, and then the quarterback decides which way they're going. And
I just disconnected my headset. The pod might have went quiet.
Huh?
Either way, I can't hear you guys.
Oh.
All right, we're good now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, let me make sure. Okay, yeah, we're good. They may have been able to hear you the whole time, but I couldn't.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not important. They are.
No, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely takes more than just arm talent to win in the NFL. Yeah. So, sorry, I got distracted by the thing coming off. Jacob Eason, I think if he wasn't worth it, then they would have never traded for Carson. So
you think that, but who knows?
That'd be a hell of a storyline, though. Jacob Eason coming out of the backup spot and balling out.
I think he'd probably be close to like Jameis Winston. I mean, at best case scenario, I mean it'd probably be a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of turnovers. I mean, because he's going to be a gunslinger. That's what he always has been.
Be a lot of run ball, probably.
Who did he beat out for the job? Was it the Fromm? Or, I mean, opposite. Fromm took the job from Eason, right?
Eason got hurt, so Fromm took the job over. And since Fromm had Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, Georgia was like, hey, we'll throw the ball 8 times a game and still beat everybody, which is what they did and how they made it to the national championship. But when they played the national championship against Alabama, Alabama had Jalen Hurts, who had the same idea. They were just going to run the ball, play good defense, and Georgia was beating the crap out of them halfway through that game, and they changed over. That's when Alabama changed the Tua Tagovailoa, and he brought them back and won the national championship. So Fromm, there's a reason why Fromm was a later draft pick than Jacob Eason. I think anybody with a brain knows that Fromm's not really going to win you football games, but Eason probably with his arm talent can. The issue is Eason's probably going to lose more games than Fromm would, and that's why. I mean, Fromm's not even. I don't even know if he's going to make the roster anymore because he, of course, last year something came out in preseason that he had made some racist comments, and then they kept him. And then this year, the Bills went out and got Mitch Trubisky as a backup. So
yeah,
I really don't foresee an area where Fromm is going to be on their roster, much less any other roster. So Eason's definitely, he seems like the smarter decision right now anyway.
Yeah, Fromm never impressed me really at Georgia at all. He had good receivers to throw to too, and never really did much of anything.
Yeah, he didn't have to be impressive. I mean, if I could turn around and hand the ball off to Michelle and Nick Chubb, I'd have looked pretty good too. But that's that was how Georgia won, and that's at that point in that time of football. That was before these huge offenses were everywhere. They were pretty big then, but now Alabama puts up 80 points a game. But then Georgia could play that kind of way because they would score at least 17 and not give up 10. And that's how they won, and it worked.
Georgia messed up not keeping Justin Fields.
I don't know what Kirby Smart was thinking there. I mean, because you've got Justin Fields was obviously the most physically talented and gifted quarterback they had on that roster, but again, Fromm was the guy that he knew wouldn't lose him a game. Although when it came down to it, that's why Georgia hadn't won a national championship since 1980 something. So Justin Fields probably would have won them a national championship with his type of athletic ability. I guess Kirby Smart was just afraid he'd lose them another game. Instead, they wouldn't even make it there.
How did Georgia do last year?
Whole hell of a lot better for Tennessee. That's all I know.
Can't fucking type.
I want to say they lost 3 or 4 games.
Why would you give it to me? They like gave me instead of giving me an overall standing, it gave me the schedule with every win and loss. I can't do math.
Well, they had to roll with Stetson Bennett, who was a walk-on quarterback at one point, because JT Daniels wasn't ready to go yet. The kid from Wake Forest was not that good. Or he opted out, is what it was. He opted out because he thought he was going to be a first-round pick, and then he went undrafted. And then the other kid was like a four-star recruit, and he came in at Mathis, and he did not do well at all. So they stuck with Stetson Bennett, who, again, they felt like was kind of like Fromm, would give them a better chance to win. And he just couldn't put up points. But when they got JT Daniels in there, and they're going to have him this year, JT Daniels is going to put up a lot of points.
That guy looks like a troll, though. JT Daniels.
Yeah, he does.
No offense, bro. You're probably gonna make more money than I ever will on this earth, but I'm looking like a troll. All right. So, any other NFL news we might have missed?
The Jets had an offensive lineman that was diagnosed with a spinal cord injury earlier today.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's really awful news. Cameron Daniels, I believe, is his name. I may be wrong on that. But they are saying that the news so far is pretty good on him. So hopefully that's nothing serious. I just saw that on Twitter before we got on here. I don't really even know the guy, or obviously I'm not a Jets guy. So, but hate to hear that kind of news because you don't ever want to see anybody get that hurt. So hopefully he'll be good.
Jeff Gladney got released. Yeah, he got released for some reason.
Yep.
Looks like legal troubles of some sort.
Oh, never mind.
All it says is it's a good thing, and this is from his agent. It's a good thing that innocent until proven guilty still exists in this country. Unfortunately, the Vikings don't view it the same way. Oh God, fucking shots fired. Today, Jeff was indicted, which is simply a normal step in the judicial process. This means this case is going to trial and nothing more. It does not speak to his guilt or innocence. We received information that the complaining witness in the case came forward and requested the case not be prosecuted. The Vikings did what they thought was best for their organization, which we respect, but still strongly believe in Gladney's innocence. We blah blah blah. Look forward to other stuff. Blah.
Yeah,
So he
you
did something
wrong, you're indicted. But I mean, basically at that point, I mean, the police come and get you, and so the attorney's not wrong there. But
it's an assaulting a woman in Dallas in April. So I don't know. You have to assume that the Vikings did their own little bit of research on this, you know.
Well, not just that. If you've got a guy that like Jeff Gladney, who, let's say he's underperformed in your eyes, and you just don't really want to deal with any negative press, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and cut him, especially if you can do it with saving money on your salary cap and all this other stuff. Regardless of whether or not you know what he actually did or if he's innocent or not. I mean, it's probably
fair.
It's probably the right move by the Vikings, regardless. The thing for Gladney is, and AJ Johnson, or Alexander Johnson, now a former Tennessee Vol, he kind of went through the same thing, where he was innocent, and he was proven innocent, and the woman came afterwards and said that she needed to apologize because she basically ruined his career, and that's if Gladney hit a woman, then he needs to be thrown under the jail. You know, if he did something like that, yeah, he's an awful human being. But I don't know what really happened. Nobody else does either, except for the people that were there. So I think the Vikings are in the right, no matter what, though, because they're saving a lot of trouble right now, just cutting it.
I didn't really think about that, like from an aspect of like if you wanted out of this contract, like here's an easy way to do it, like just wipe your hands of it. Yeah, an opt out. Yeah, because I didn't really think about that from that aspect. If he had been underperforming or whatever, that's a good point.
I mean, he forced their back against the wall, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
even if he's lying, I mean their backs against the wall. They got one option.
Yeah, obviously, like Adrian Peterson, like beat the shit out of his kid with a stick or something like that, and
right.
He didn't get released by the Vikings. So
but here's the difference. And now I'm just gonna tell you this comes down to this is a cultural thing, honestly. With Gladney, he either did or didn't beat a woman, right? Yeah. Adrian Peterson was disciplining his child. Now, you don't have to agree with the way he disciplined his child. I'm not speaking on that end of it. But he took a switch to the rear end of his kid. He had some marks on his butt and he had some marks on his legs. I used to get absolutely beat the hell up for looking the wrong direction by my dad. So I understand that kind of idea of disciplining your child, even though I don't really agree with it. It's the way he was raised. And if his kid back talked his mom and Adrian said, "No, we're not dealing with this." That's one. I think that's two different things in my brain anyway.
No, yeah, you're totally right. I was just taking a jab at the Vikings and Adrian Peterson.
I get that. Also, it's Adrian freaking Peterson,
Yeah. not Jeff Gladney. Who, if you were like, who are the Vikings cornerbacks? I don't know if Jeff Gladney would have came to my mind, like, first and foremost,
I probably would have said somebody don't even play there anymore, to be honest.
I don't know. I probably would have guessed, like, Prince Akukamora or something, because he plays for, like, everybody.
That's right. He's played by every NFL team.
He's like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of cornerbacks.
Yes, he is.
All right. Let's see what else we got. I did see something right before we went on, and now I can't remember what it is. Let me see if I still have it.
Oh, Julio Jones left practice early yesterday with a little tweak of an injury. And Matthew Stafford hurt his thumb. Matthew Stafford may be out for a while.
Ooh. Okay. I don't have this ready for the pod, but these are some... this is good for the pod. So it's Tom Brady's career, like every 6 years, and basically saying that he's had 3 Hall of Fame careers in one. Like, so 06 to 07, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time Super Bowl or Pro Bowl, 1-time passing yard leader, 1-time touchdown leader. This is 07 to 2013, 2-time Pro Bowl, 2-time MVP, 6-time Pro Bowl, 2-time pass touchdown leader, 1 touchdown yards leader. What was that? Comeback player of the year. And then 14 to 2020, 4-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 1-time MVP. When did Tom Brady win MVP?
I think it was the year he threw 50 touchdown passes.
No. This is 14 to 22.
Oh,
what?
I don't know.
I don't remember him winning MVP.
Like, they probably just threw him the award one year.
Probably the Tuck Rule year. Or what is it?
2017. He was named MVP.
Oh.
Wow,
Yeah.
he was the oldest MVP ever by 6 years. That's crazy.
He's the oldest anything ever in the NFL.
But yeah, that's pretty wild.
Every time he puts on pads, he breaks another record because he's older than dirt.
Yeah, right. When did he get most? Who has the most games played? I wonder when he'll get that.
George Blanda.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm guessing.
Most.
I don't know if that's correct or not.
I think you're actually right.
Oh, hey.
No, it's okay. It's Morton Anderson.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Field
Dude. Yeah, because Morton was kicking field goals well on into his 60s. He was
Yeah.
like the last guy with the single bar helmet.
He played till 07.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played back in black and white TV too.
Morton Anderson, 82 to 2007. So that's what, 25 years?
Good God.
That's crazy.
He played for a few teams too.
Yeah. And then Adam Vinatieri, Gary Anderson, Jeff Feagles, so George Blanda, Jason Hansen, Phil Dawson, Jerry Rice. He's the first like legit position player.
Well, hey, Blanda was a quarterback.
Yeah, but he switched to kicker when he got old.
So
So
was Phil Dawson.
and then Brett Favre, and then Tom Brady. Position player wise.
How far off is Brady from the first?
79 games.
Shit.
81 games. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong person. So that's pretty crazy.
Play 4 more years, yeah.
Yeah.
4 or 5, and have to go to the Super Bowl every year.
Well, I don't know if that's just counting regular season games. I've already clicked off of.
If it's just regular season games, that's like 6 or
Yeah,
7
It's
years.
regular season.
Wow.
It doesn't have one like including postseason. I bet if you included postseason, he's pretty up there.
Oh yeah.
Because that's another 4 or 5 games a year.
Yeah.
All right. Not a lot to talk about today.
Kumar Rocker.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and get into that.
I'll let the Mets fan speak on it first.
Well, at least wanted him to make an offer. But I mean, the worst he could do was turn it down.
Yeah, I think. Well, and Steve Cohen, and this is a whole different kind of part of the story, and a whole different thing we could talk on. Steve Cohen, who is the majority owner of the Mets now, is very active on Twitter, and he went on Twitter and he said, "I've never backed away from an investment that I felt like could have made me money." It's the words
Ooh,
screwed there. Yeah. So
he a shot.
Yeah, he did. Now, the other issue that goes along with that is Tim Corbin threw Kumar Rocker on a mound at least once or twice a week for the last few seasons, and his elbow may just legitimately be burnt out. And so
Like 290 innings or something like that.
that's crazy. I mean, so Kumar may physically not have, what the Mets thought he had. And if he shows up and he's expecting first overall pick money, right? If he's expecting first overall pick money, which would have been somewhere north of $10 million, and the Mets are like, look, we're not even in the same ballpark, and they never even offered him. That does kind of bother me if I'm a Mets fan. Be like, at least, offering $5 million or whatever you think, 4.5 maybe, whatever the 9 pick
Right.
or whatever pick it was. But I think the Mets should have offered him something, even if it was kind of disrespectful of an offer. But I think Kumar also needs to be really he needs to be honest with himself as far as what physically he's got. Maybe his elbow is tore up, and he's not going back to Vanderbilt now. He's going to go join. He's either going overseas or he's going to join an international league. So we're kind of excited to see what happens. He can be drafted again next year by anybody. He's not technically a free agent, so nobody can go pick him up. But he can be drafted again next year, while the Mets will receive the 11th overall pick next year, in addition to whatever first-round pick they have.
Oh, okay.
I guess they valued that pick more than taking a risk on him.
I guess, especially if you spend way over slot value money on that pick and you're no longer allowed to spend it on your other picks.
Right.
the MLB draft rules are ridiculous and outdated anyway, but that's, again, a different conversation.
Did you guys want to do some of the NBA draft as well? Anything to say about that?
Oh, hell, I forgot that was the other day.
Yeah.
Keon Johnson fell a little bit further than I thought he would. As a Tennessee fan, I was kind of hoping for either Memphis or Golden State because I was going to buy his jersey, but now he's a Clipper. I mean, even if he was a Knick, I might have bought his jersey, but now he's a Clipper. I'm probably...
Eve Pons went undrafted, but signed with Memphis.
Yeah, which is cool. I think that's awesome.
He's athletic enough to be a good NBA player, I think. He don't have a great jump shot, but yeah, he's got the size and athleticism to play. Hopefully he could develop a jump shot.
Didn't look like the Rockets moved up like we thought. See, we could have called that if that would have happened. I'm like, yeah, we called it.
Well, and see, the bad thing is we couldn't get Kyle to wake up to do the podcast, but if we could have got him on, this would have been where he could really shine because he's the basketball nerd. But, of course, Cade Cunningham did go number 1 overall to the Pistons, as everybody kind of expected. The other thing about the draft, and this is funny to me, Adrian Wojnarowski usually just tweets out the entire draft before it happens. So I love him, but that I don't really enjoy watching the draft because you know what's going to happen because of him.
Yeah, I always feel the same way when I see like when we were watching the NFL draft. I wasn't looking at Twitter at all because usually it comes in like a minute to 30 seconds before like it's actually legit. So
yeah, and I like like when the Titans took Derrick Henry, they had just traded for DeMarco Murray. Nobody kind of expected them to draft Derrick Henry, and here they go. They draft Derrick Henry. I remember, I still remember that moment hanging out with my cousin Daniel, who's a huge Titans fan. I looked over at him, and we both kind of made that ooh kind of face to each other because we were like, okay, cool, whatever, let's take him, But I like those moments where something happens, you don't really expect it, like the Bears taking Trubisky, stuff like that, And I remember my first moment when that happened. The Houston Texans took Mario Williams.
Oh, yeah.
When Reggie Bush and Vince Young and all those guys were available, they took Mario Williams. And who would have ever thought that in the long run they had the best pick? But I do like that. That's my favorite part of the draft is when crazy stuff happens, and I hate that being taken away from me.
When Dallas picked Ezekiel Elliott, I'm pretty sure that year.
Yeah, he was like number 4 or 5.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And of course, all the Mel Kipers of the world were like, you don't draft running backs first overall or first round or blah, blah, blah. And of course, Zeke ran for 1,600 that year. So that was kind of like up yours to the NFL guys.
I wanted them to draft Jalen Ramsey and then get Derrick Henry in the second round because that's where they projected him to go.
Ramsey went like, 5 or 6?
Yeah, he went. Yeah, they could have picked Ramsey. I think he went 5.
I remember thinking the same thing for the Titans. I was hoping the Titans would have drafted Ramsey, and they drafted Conklin. Not that Conklin was bad, but
well, the Titans had the first overall pick and fleeced St. Louis at the time. I think it was St. Louis. It may have been LA, but fleeced the Rams for the first overall pick, and that's how we were able to scoot back and had 4 picks. And we got Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson and Derrick Henry and somebody else in the second round. And that was actually a really good draft for the Titans, even though Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson didn't really work out. Derrick Henry's probably the best player on the planet that's not named Aaron Donald. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get possibly a future Hall of Fame running back, it's always a good thing. A guy that kind of looks like Bo Jackson almost running down the sideline. I don't know if he's that quick, but he's very quick. Sneaky fast. Yeah, that I really wanted him to take Jalen Ramsey though, just because he's from the area, kind of coming back home, kind of thing. But hey, obviously it might not have worked out for him though. Jaguars don't have him either.
Hey, boys, we got breaking news. I had to swipe up on my phone real quick. I got a like on Bumble. So I got
Oh, nice.
this broad probably looks like one of Santa's reindeers.
Yeah, I'm glad we're breaking that news mid-pod. Oh, man. All right, so Lee, you sent this into the podcast, so we'll look at that real quick while Casey thinks about Bumble. So it's 3 draft classes, NBA draft classes, and we have to choose which one we like the most. The first one is the 1984 draft. It has Hakeem Olajuwon at number 1, Michael Jordan at number 3, Charles Barkley at number 5, and John Stockton at number 16. I'm gonna really throw you guys under the bus here. Where did John Stockton go to college? That's a legitimate question. I don't know that.
I'm gonna say BYU. He just looks like a Mormon.
He does look like a Mormon.
He does, or UCLA, like something like that.
Oh yeah, it could be something like that. Let's see. Ooh, okay. He went to like a big basketball school before it was a basketball school. Went to Gonzaga.
Oh wow.
Damn Gonzaga boys.
Now that you say it, yeah, I get the Gonzaga vibes. He's
Those
white.
Let's say those damn Gonzaga white boys. All right, so yeah, that was the 1984 draft.
Before you show me any other ones, I'll take that one.
Yeah, right. 2003 NBA draft: LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, both in the top 5.
Hey, Darko Milicic went second that year.
Oh yeah, it could have been. But it should have included him. And then the 1996 draft: Allen Iverson at 1, Ray Allen at 5, Kobe at 13, RIP, and then Steve Nash at number 15. Those are all pretty good.
I love Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is probably my favorite player of all time. But there's no draft class better than anything that includes Michael Jordan, and I'll argue that into my grave.
And especially when you consider that there's 4 Hall of Famers on that. Like, I mean, you could argue maybe that for 2003. Hold on, let me look at it again. 2003, there is definitely 2 Hall of Famers, I'd say. Yeah,
between Wade and James.
Yeah, LeBron and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
I don't think Chris Bosh makes it just because his career was a little short, and then Carmelo kind of fizzled out earlier than the other 2.
And I like Carmelo, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer either.
No. And then 96, you definitely have Kobe and Steve Nash.
Definitely got 3.
You got 4 Hall of Famers right there. Because Steve Nash is one of the best point guards ever. Kobe, AI, and Ray held every 3-point record imaginable until Curry came along. So, I mean,
I wouldn't argue Ray. I'd probably argue Allen Iverson. That's just not because I don't like Allen Iverson. I think that Allen Iverson's a great player, but I don't know that he would be. He hasn't made it in the Hall of Fame. I don't know that he ever will.
No, I don't care if he is or won't be. He is a Hall of Fame player in my eyes, is what I'm saying. But I'll take the 96 draft class over 03, and I'll take Michael Jordan over everybody.
Yeah,
MJ is different. And, I mean, Kobe Bryant was one of my favorite players after MJ. Just because he was MJ's protege. I mean, there's no denying it.
I think that there should probably be a bigger argument, I'd say, that maybe Kobe might deserve to be a little higher in people's all-time best players list.
Right.
In the GOAT category, I think Kobe has a solid chance at 2. Maybe that's just me.
I mean,
it's so hard to transcend the eras, though. I mean, because, like, you know, LeBron plays in this era. Kobe was right before him, and Michael was before that. But then you've got these other guys like Larry and Magic were before that. And
Yeah.
I mean, like Oscar Robertson, I mean, the triple double machine himself, but he played in like the 1860s, you know? So, like, for real, like, how we, you know, it's hard to transcend the eras and really, like, decipher what's what. But, and I hate that argument because people like LeBron's never going to get a fair shake. I don't really care for LeBron. I think he whines a little bit too much, just for me. But as far as physical talent wise, I don't know if there's ever been a human being on this planet that's ever more physically talented than he ever was at anything, other than maybe Bo Jackson. You know, so I mean, like, realistically, I mean, LeBron. I think LeBron is a GOAT, while so is Michael and so is Kobe. I like to think you can respect all of them and give them their due respect for
oh
what
no,
they're
definitely.
It's just so hard to have that conversation because everybody played in a different era. I mean, Michael was legitimately assaulted by Detroit in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and,
literally.
and LeBron expects a foul when somebody breathes on him, you know, and it's just what I mean what are we doing here?
That's
I
like
can't say when defense became non-existent, but they used to play defense back in the day.
They did.
well, and that's the thing I would probably say is the biggest knock against LeBron, right? Is that he's soft or whatever people want to say.
He's a flopper.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if he's soft.
over-exaggerator.
I think he's just playing the game. Like, if you put LeBron in the 90s, I don't think LeBron is the same LeBron. I think that he is more aggressive, he is more physical, and he takes... Like, you can't convince me that Bill Lambeer's white ass could fucking keep up with LeBron James. Like,
yeah, but how often will LeBron go to the hole if Shaq is standing there?
Yeah, but to me, like...
No,
LeBron is
right.
such a physical specimen, you know? And that's why, like, I'm a LeBron is the best physically gifted basketball player to ever play. That's my... I think MJ is the greatest basketball player to play. And I think Kobe's probably the most clutch basketball player to ever play. Like, Mamba mentality and all that. Definitely, I think that's your three.
There was a story, and I got to tell you all this real quick. There was a story. Somebody, I can't remember who said it. I saw it on TikTok, but they said Kobe and MJ were going up against each other, and I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was when MJ was in Washington at the end of school. Yeah, and Kobe was having an off night against him. I'm pretty sure the Lakers went on to win anyway because the Wizards were so bad. But MJ told Kobe at some point during the game, MJ looked at Kobe and said, "You're gonna have to get you some new shoes because you can't feel these." Yeah, and so the person that tells this story, they hear all this from Phil Jackson, and the way Phil Jackson tells it is, Kobe didn't talk to anybody on the team. He didn't talk to a coach, nobody for like 2 weeks. And the other players started going up to Phil and they said, Phil, Coach, you know, is Kobe mad at us? What's going on? What's wrong with Kobe? And Phil tells them this story. And they said, no, Kobe is in his own world. He's so upset. He's so mad right now. So the next time they played each other, Kobe against MJ, Kobe dropped 54 points on his head. And that's one of the few times where, you know, don't get me wrong. I know MJ was like geriatric when they played. I get that. But that's one of the few times where like MJ kind of ran his mouth and somebody came back at him, you know, and that, and then when AI did the crossover, there's only been a few times where MJ caught the bad end of a deal, but that's an amazing story. And just how the other the other players didn't know what was going on. And Phil had to tell him what he said. And the fact that Kobe, he went in his own world for 2 weeks. I think that really changed the whole outlook of Kobe's career. I think he always obviously loved and respected MJ. And I don't think there was ever any hate there. But I mean, MJ, I mean, he told Muggsy Bogues to shoot it. He called him. He said,
Yeah.
"Shoot it, you effing midget." So I mean,
Yeah.
MJ talked, and he was really good at it, and he got in people's heads.
He dunked on everybody.
Absolutely.
Patrick Ewing,
Dunking on
Olajuwon,
Olajuwon and the finger. Oh, I mean, the things MJ did. Oh my God, it's next level. It was like he was writing his own story. Like he was writing his own biography as he's playing basketball. He says, "You know what? I'm going to go do this because I think it's cool." And that's what he did. He went and did it. He didn't give a crap what anybody else thought. He did it, and he was better than everybody, and he knew it. He just knew it. But Kobe got him that day.
Am I the only one that's hoping that like there's going to be more Last Dance-esque like documentaries coming out about like great like. It can be basketball. It can be people falling around Tom Brady, like during the Patriots like era, 20 years. Like that would be awesome. I hope that there's so many more like Last Dance like documentaries about these players.
Oh, if I'm not dead and gone in 20 years, I'd love to watch some kind of a Last Dance video on like an 8 episode series about Tom Brady and how he leaves New England and what really happened behind closed doors. I think that would be crazy. I think that would be nuts. I would love for it's like 30 for 30, but like a full season of it. It's truly it's a great series, and I hope they do continue it. But don't do it on everybody. You know, I don't want a 30 for 30 on, you know, the Twins backup catcher. You know what I'm saying? Like make sure for the people that deserve it.
Absolutely.
I'd probably still watch it though. That's the bad part. I like documentaries so much.
Yeah, the 30 for 30 and E60, those are good to watch.
Do they still do E60? Is E60 still a thing?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, the one about Alex Smith. Oh my God, that one was so.
Yeah,
bad.
that was crazy. Yeah,
I got so much respect for that guy.
30 for 30 has podcasts now too. I haven't listened to like the new season, but I've listened to all of them for that, and they're like the thing about sports is like it can take you can give me like one of them was like the Tour de France or something, like a team in the Tour de France, I think, and I was so fucking captivated by that 30 for 30 podcast about that, and I don't give a single fuck about the Tour de France. Like sports. It's just like the storylines and the superhuman effort that happens every now and then is just like that's what makes sports worth it, like to me.
Well, and I think that people like us respect it even more because I think most of us grew up playing sports. And don't get me wrong, I think back in the day I was a pretty good baseball player, but there's obviously a huge difference between somebody like me and somebody like, let's say, Mike Trout. Mike Trout's the best player on the planet, you know, So we all, as somewhat athletes ourselves, can really respect what other athletes do, whether it's our sport or not, because we know how genuinely hard it is to not only do something, but be good at it, and then to be better than every other human being on this planet at it. I think that's probably why we all love and respect that kind of stuff so much.
Yeah, I think so too. And another one, like the reason I like women's basketball is also because of that podcast. They did a segment on Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird like playing together in Russia, and like I don't know, it was just like so interesting to me. But then so now like WNBA's on, the Phoenix Mercury are playing. I'll watch, you know, like that, and 2K helped a lot about that too.
If I think if our area had a women's basketball team, like professionally, I'd probably get more invested into it.
Yeah,
but I mean, because I know for a fact I love basketball of all kinds. If the UT Lady Vols are playing, I don't care if they're playing Dartmouth or UConn. I'm there for it. And I know if you know Nashville or even Knoxville had a team, and I don't know why Knoxville doesn't have a team. I think professional women's basketball would be great in that town with Pat Summitt and her legacy. I would absolutely love it. I know I would watch, but I just think that's one reason why I probably haven't been as invested. But I do keep up with it because there are a lot of Lady Vols that go on and play, not just Candace Parker. Yeah. I know the Minnesota Lynx just drafted Renee Davis, and I love her. She's a great basketball player, and like I said, I'd probably be more invested if we had a team around here.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of SEC players in general in women's basketball. Like I know when I was playing 2K, like it was like every player, you know, would come up like where they went to college, and it was always like South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida. You know, I think there were some Mississippi States in there. Like pretty.
I think every sport other than lacrosse is dominated by SEC players as far as professional wise. Now, lacrosse, I think ACC kind of has a leg up on that because North Carolina and Duke and all of them are just amazing at it. But other than that, I mean, and maybe soccer too. But other than that, I mean, if you're talking about major like major league or professional sports, most of those sports are dominated by SEC schools because technically it just means more. These schools, they care more about sports and they want to win more, and there's more money involved, so there's more reason to win.
I guess that's why Texas.
We didn't talk about
Oklahoma.
this. I was actually about to bring that up. Yes, we didn't talk about this last week. Oklahoma and Texas. Is it? It's not official, right? This is still just. Oh, it's official now. Okay, I missed that.
SEC accepted them. Yeah.
That all SEC, all 14 voted yes. Now somebody held a gun to Texas A&M's head to say yes, but they only needed. I think they needed like 4 no's for it to not be completed, and they got 14 yeses. So, also Clemson and Florida State reached out and said somebody. I don't know if that's true. It's in the Twitter sphere, so it may not be true, but. What you're going to have before too long is one super conference with all the big money teams, and it's going to be the most beautiful thing in the world, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, that seems what you're slowly edging towards. You know, like when's Ohio State gonna join the SEC, the Southeastern Conference? You know, like.
Well, and I'd be all right with let's have 2 major conferences, and then USC and Ohio State, Notre Dame and Penn State and Michigan and all those schools, they can stay over there. And the Washingtons and the Arizona States of the world. And then we'll take all the other kind of redneck schools and let's have a big playoff to figure out who wins this conference. And then the Power 5 conferences, maybe they can have a say. Maybe they can throw somebody into a 4-team playoff and then have one really big playoff at the end, maybe even 8. You probably could still do 8, but I think I'm so invested and I'm so ready to see it. I think it's going to be cool because the people that like Tennessee fans that don't want to play Alabama anymore, or the Tennessee fans that are scared of playing Texas, those people are wussies. Those are small-minded, weak-minded people that are scared of anything. Tennessee's going to suck or Tennessee's going to be good, and it don't really matter who they play. If Tennessee's good, then they're going to be able to compete with those teams. And I if we barely lose to some of those teams and we're a good team, then that's one thing. But if they show up, I don't think it's going to make Tennessee go from being a good SEC team to a bad SEC team. Those two things don't equivalent, because if we can beat Georgia and we can beat Florida and we can beat Alabama, we can beat anybody. I don't really give a damn who else we play.
We was scheduled to play Oklahoma like 3 years in a row starting this next year anyway, so.
Yep.
Have they said anything about the realignment yet? How they're going to do it? I'm trying to find anything on.
They could do it as soon as next year. They could come in because Texas and Oklahoma could pay like $75 million or something like that.
Yeah, that's spare change for them.
Not have to wait till 2025.
Yeah, 2025 is the year, no matter what, at least. But I'd bet $1 to a donut. There's no way it makes it that long. Texas and Oklahoma will probably be in the SEC next year.
$1 to a donut. That's a good.
That's one. An old person saying. I don't really know what it means. I just like the way it sounds.
I like it. Yeah, I'm gonna start using it actually.
Hey, you're welcome to, because I stole it from some old codger. I don't even know who said it.
I do have a graphic real quick. I'm just gonna add it. I forgot about this. I do have a graphic for. It's like a proposed alignment, or like just like a what if, I guess you would say. All right, so we're doing this live. So a little weird, but blow it up for you. So, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. All right, so you put them into 4 different pods, and then play the other 3 teams in your pod. Play 2 games against each other pods, and then host every team at least once every 4 years. That'd be kind of crazy. But
Yeah, I
kinda
think
like it.
I think they should. Florida or Georgia should go to Pod D and take Arkansas or Missouri. Or yeah,
Man, that pod A is pretty stacked. Like that is a, I mean, so Kentucky and South Carolina. I mean, I would say they're better than Vanderbilt or Arkansas or Missouri.
Well, I mean,
Missouri.
yeah, maybe right now, but think about it this way. I mean, Auburn's had years where it's one of the best teams in the country. Alabama won't go away. Tennessee hopefully won't suck forever. So I mean, Pod B could be good. Pod D, Arkansas has sucked forever. I call it Arkansas, and I don't really care what they think. Missouri won the SEC East the first 2 years they were here. Oklahoma and Texas are both really good programs. All of those pods now, in Mississippi State was number 1 in the country when Dak Prescott was there. LSU had the best team I've ever seen in my life in 2019. Ole Miss is, I mean, every once in a while, I mean, when Hugh Freeze was out there, they were good. So, I mean,
They seem like they're on the way up right now, too.
yeah. So, I mean, there's ebbs and flows to football. And whenever, I think you're going to have years where, I mean, we've all seen the years where Florida and Georgia weren't very good. Now they still beat up on Tennessee because Tennessee hadn't been good in 20 years. But we've seen years where some of those teams suck, some of those teams are good. But that would just be, there's just a lot of talent right there. But the one thing I would hate is if there were like the year to year rivalries. I don't want them to go away. I want Tennessee and Alabama to play every single year. I want that to happen. I want
Texas, Oklahoma should have to play every year.
Yeah, Texas, Oklahoma,
Florida versus Georgia.
Tennessee and Florida should have to play. I mean, I just, that's just the way I believe. Anyway.
So I'm really throwing this on top of you right now, but you said Tennessee hasn't been good for 20 years.
Well, that's a roundabout number, but yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I think, honestly, it starts with Philip Fulmer kind of getting a little bit old. And it honestly starts with David Cutcliffe going to Duke. If David Cutcliffe stays and is the offensive coordinator in 05 or 06, whatever year it was, I don't think the Tennessee offense goes down the drain as quickly. And then Philip can probably go out a little bit better than it happened in 08, I think. So 08 he gets fired, or 09, whatever year it was. And then they bring in Kiffin, and Kiffin ran out of town. And then, of course, you go out, and it's a last-second hire. You hire Vince Dooley's kid, because Vince Dooley's like number 2 in SEC in wins in all time. You go out and get his kid, and his kid sucks. Derek Dooley went through an entire recruiting cycle without recruiting an offensive lineman. Tennessee is still feeling the pain of that now. So Dooley sucked. Butch Jones is a piece of shit. And he burned a lot of bridges. He won 9 games, and that was the best year he ever had with loads of NFL talent. It just tells you how awful he was at whatever he was doing. He could get kids here, but I don't think they really knew what they were doing after they got here. I think from head to toe, the last 3 years with Jeremy Pruitt, I think Jeremy just wasn't really ready for an NFL or for a head coaching job yet. And Pruitt just may be one of those people that is born to be a coordinator. So, I mean, maybe that's just the way that is. Monty Kiffin was one. But what you've got is when the guy at the front of the line is not ready or not capable or isn't good, it's going to affect the rest of it. And Philip, it was time for Philip Fulmer to go. But the way all that happened, bringing in Lane and then Lane jumping ship, You're talking about a 18 to 24 month process there where Tennessee went from still fairly decent. Tennessee was still pretty good. They made the SEC championship game in 07, and then Phil was fired in 09. I mean, you're talking like immediately down from 09 until now. I mean, that's just how it kind of works. Plus, I think, Mark Richt wasn't the greatest coach ever, but Georgia was pretty darn good underneath him. Urban Meyer is one of the best college coaches ever, and Florida really got up and going. Teams like Kentucky and South Carolina got tired of getting beat around, and they're getting better. It's kind of like Team USA with the rest of the world. Everybody else is starting to catch up, and Tennessee was going backwards, and that's why they're where they're at. The kids that are there, I think the kids can play football. I think they need a good leader. Hopefully Heupel is that guy. I don't know. We're going to need a few years to figure it out. But
I mean, obviously I'm that guy. If you watch the Tennessee Vols rebuild, you'd know. Hire me. But,
well,
another thing, like with Lane Kiffin, he had violations and everything else, so that hurt us even further down the road.
Well, that and I mean, when you really think about it, there's just not a whole lot of head coach. You just can't go grab one and say, "Oh, hey, bring us back to the glory days." It takes a certain guy to build the right kind of program, and that guy may not work at a different program.
Yeah,
but I mean, Alabama they made the right decision in 06 or whatever when they went and got Nick Saban. LSU's Ed Orgeron, I don't know if he's the right guy, but he had the right things around him. He had Joe Brady, and Joe Brady revolutionized the way college football is played, especially in the SEC.
And Tennessee had to deal with Les Miles, too, when LSU was good in those days.
Yeah, so I mean,
Miles, Urban Meyer, like you said.
Now
Nick Saban.
Here's one thing about Heupel I will say. A lot of people said Heupel can't recruit. Heupel's done nothing but bring in pretty solid recruits on paper anyway. Nobody knows how these are going to play until they put on a helmet. But UCF right now is 62nd in the country in recruiting, and they have 1 4-star. So maybe Heupel isn't really all that bad at some of the stuff that we thought he'd be bad at. Maybe he is the guy. There's a much larger chance that he's not, right? I mean, there's like a 98% chance that Heupel's going to be another guy in a line of guys that haven't gotten it right. But there's a small chance that if he sets the culture right and he gets the right kids in here, and we're talking, I shared a picture on Twitter the other day. It was Coach Johnny Majors talking about there are kids from each border, from the Kentucky border to the Alabama border, from east to west in the state of Tennessee that bleed orange. And you've got to go get those kids because those are the ones that care about the University of Tennessee. And I've said this a few times before. You've got to get kids that care about the University of Tennessee. You've got to get people around them that want to help them become better football players. I don't think the talent is missing. Is the talent as good as Alabama? No, but nobody recruits as good as Alabama. Right. You've got to win before you can get all the 5 stars like that. But the number 1 recruit in the country right now, or at least he was last week before 24/7 changed their rankings, Walter Nolan has received a few crystal balls to go to Tennessee. And he's from Tennessee. And if he's one of those kids that bleeds orange and he wants to come here and he wants to fix it, then that's what we need. We need more of that. If he's 5-star, great. If he's 4-star, cool. If he's 3-star, cool. Put him on the roster. If the kid cares, if the team cares, they will work. They will get the work put in hard enough to get Tennessee back to where it needs to be. But it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of years. This ain't going to happen overnight. Because the defensive line, I don't even know if there's enough people on the defensive line right now to play a football game.
So, also, when you look at someone like Josh Heupel, he plays, or his team played really well in the American Conference. Now, UCF, on paper, at least from their standings, I guess you would say, better than Tennessee has been in the past few years. Because they went undefeated for 2 years? But So what I'm asking is, is Tennessee better talent wise than UCF is? Is that
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm asking? So you
You
would
just
think,
talking just straight up talent that the kids got?
yes.
100% yes.
Okay, so then you would think that he would have success, but it's because of the rest of the talent in the SEC.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
Well,
trying to, I'm trying to understand like why do you have teams like Tennessee that are, I would say they're not bad organizations by any means. Oh, Kyle is all over the chat right now.
Tell him to get his ass in here.
Yeah, you can enter the chat if you want to, Kyle.
He's in the Discord, dumbass.
We have more talent, just 25 less kids, is what he says.
Right now, yes, but we've always had more talent. There's more physical talent on any SEC roster, excluding Vanderbilt, than UCF. Maybe UCF has ever had, and I'll argue that any day, all day. Now you can look at recruiting rankings, and I know the year after they went 13-0, whatever, they probably had a pretty good recruiting class. I don't care. They go out and they go get kids that fit their system, and they might look good on paper, and they look really good for UCF. But there are certain kids that can play in the SEC, and some of them went to Tennessee. Some of them go to other schools. But those kids, how many people do you see in the NFL from UCF?
Yeah, well, we mean the video chat, Kyle, not the text chat. You're more than welcome to join either one.
Just turn your video on, put a shirt on, and
or
get
you don't even have to. You
video.
can do just voice if you want. Actually, I don't know. It's up to you though.
But yeah, Tennessee they can't recruit quarterbacks. They haven't had a good look at it. Joshua Dobbs has been the best quarterback for Tennessee since T. Martin, in my opinion.
Here's the thing, though, and here's something else to that.
Yeah.
Now there's a few years there where Garantano's not the guy. I that's fine. You can say that, but they haven't had a good coach since, like, a quarterback coach since Cutcliffe was here. I mean, realistically, they went and got the quarterback coach from North Texas, and fans thought he was going to be the answering prayer for Garantano. And Garantano had the best year he ever had. So, I mean, if you actually get somebody that can come in and help a quarterback, maybe there were kids on this roster that could play. Nathan Peterman made it to the NFL.
Tyler Bray, yes, Tyler Bray, and Peterman did had some good games with Buffalo when he got the shot. He started a couple games and did really well.
Well, and after he went to Pitt, after he transferred to Pitt, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. That's why he got drafted. That's why he got, or maybe not drafted, but that's why he got a chance in the NFL. I think Tennessee has had kids. Again, what I think is and I see this a lot with high school bowling. I'm a high school bowling coach. We see teams all the time that have kids that you can tell are athletic kids. Bowling is a sport that takes some time to get really, really good at. But if you have a halfway decent coach, you can teach a kid how to put a ball down, how to roll the ball down the lane. And what it is, the main differences between all of the teams and then the good teams is a coach. 100%. It's not the kids. It's never been the kids. Now, the difference between the really good teams and then like the top tier teams that go to state and win state every year are the kids that show up when they're 5 years old and work hard at the game. And that's a whole different thing. But that you're talking about a difference of like this. The sucky teams that are way down here and the good teams right here, the only difference is the coach. It's not the kids. And that's the same thing with Tennessee. They're still right here. I still think they can be really good. They need a coach and they need a few more like top tier players to get up here, but they're not down here.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely teams worse than Tennessee in the SEC, in the state of Tennessee as well. We do have a few comments. Savannah Merritt, UCF rocks, Vols suck. Yeah, my fiance graduated from UCF, so it's fine.
Well, and here's the difference. I just gave y'all like a 5-minute reason for why Tennessee is what they are. She said 4 words. I can stand on what I said. I don't really need I don't really need any more opinion. I mean that's fine. I'm glad she feels that way. And wonderful. That's great. I'm glad you like UCF. How many players do you know on the team? How many players can you name from
Hey.
UCF?
Dylan Gabriel.
How many
Got one.
How many players are in the NFL right now that played at Tennessee? So you're telling me the last at least 15 years where Tennessee's been one of the worst programs in the SEC is still pumping kids here and there into the NFL with coaches that couldn't find the difference between a hole in the wall and their ass. So you've got UCF has thrown what the Shaquille kid, he's in the NFL.
Yeah, Shaquille and Shareem, right?
Yeah, and they're both fantastic football players. Who was the guy? One of the safeties we talked about, or corners on one of those things you had the other day. He went to UCF. But how many top tier players at Tennessee? We're talking about one of the best running backs in football, in Alvin Kamara. Okay, Marquez Callaway isn't bad. Derek Barnett isn't bad. We got some offensive linemen in there. One of the best quarterbacks of all time with Tennessee. What do you got? Somebody else got a comment?
Spoiler alert. Savannah is Mandy's sister, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Savannah
get
says all of them. I've slept with all of them. So that's pretty funny.
Oh.
They're trolling.
Mandy says, I didn't realize this was the Casey podcast. We have terrible years and we still produce talent. Yeah, that's ultimately what it comes down to. Kyle putting a nice little bow on it. Oh man.
I'll laugh when they say something funny.
So with Tennessee and the McDonald's bag full of money, whatever that was, are we expecting any like sanctions on that, or did we get any?
It don't matter now.
I mean, it probably since we self-reported and it's not that big of a deal. Other teams are doing it. We self-reported. I don't think we're going to get any serious NCAA sanctions. Maybe a bowl ban, but God forbid if we even make a bowl this year anyway. So,
you know what? You guys can't make a bowl next year. You're right. We can't.
Yeah, we kind of figured that with the 46 kids we got on roster.
Okay. So Kyle says, "Hope you aren't." Oh, damn. Hope you aren't standing on the Vols because they would be on life support.
Huh?
It was a fat joke, I think.
Oh, a fat joke. Again, I'll laugh when somebody says something funny. I mean, I went through middle school. My own dad called me fat, so I mean, I've heard all the fat jokes you could imagine. Again, if we want to make a comedy show, I can hurt people's feelings, but I don't really need to do that.
Yeah, okay. So, anything else on the Vols? Or college football in general, I guess?
Not really.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. The Vols are on the way up in the Vols rebuild dynasty. So, year 3 about to be filmed. Got some really good players out there.
Who's the quarterback?
Can't tell you. Kind of ruins a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
Who's Tennessee's quarterback this next year?
In the
real life.
2? Oh.
No, in real life.
Probably Harrison Bailey. It might be Joe Milton.
Did
Michigan. Is that who that is? Milton, dude from Michigan or something like that?
Yeah, that's him.
That'd be cool. Fun to watch. Maybe. We'll see, I guess. Mandy says hashtag Team Casey, hashtag Justice for Casey. So she's fighting for you, but
yeah, sure.
All right, so now I thought we'd watch and react to the top 20 plays of the NFL season. You guys cool with that?
Cool.
Oh, maybe you ought to just ask Mandy and her sister and Kyle to do it.
4th and 9.
So there's no sound, so this is the Mahomes
Again, running
run
for his
around.
life.
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Now watch. I don't know if they'll show the replay. But if they do, you can clearly see it
He was
hit him right
parallel
in
to
the
the
head.
ground when he threw it.
That's unbelievable. And get it there, and it actually hits him in the face mask.
1st and 10.
This is the Colts. Philip Rivers got passed over to Naheem Hines. Look at him fucking go. That was pretty slick. Oh, this is all 100. Hold on. We don't want to watch all 100.
Charlton gets it away, a high spiraling kick. Spencer from
I
his
just
own
didn't
18.
like
Slips a tackle, he runs into his own man. Now Spencer the other way, and he's got blockers in front. Spencer at midfield, down the sideline, and Deontay Spencer will go the distance. Touchdown, Denver!
Good matchup with Corey Linsley, one of the best in the game. Here's one down the sideline. It is caught. Touchdown, Green Bay.
It just disappeared.
Fake it. Allen. Deep shot. Touchdown.
Oh yeah, it blocked us. Heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. May be temporarily blocked.
Fucking bitches.
So we can't do that. I thought we might be able to get away with it, but no, no such luck.
Oh well, we got
Kyle says that he wants Harrison Bailey.
I think so. I think that's who I would want.
at this point it could be any of them. I really have no idea.
I say Harrison Bailey just because he was there last year. I just think he deserves a shot over somebody else.
Younger as well, right? I mean, you kind of probably need to figure out what you've got in him.
Right, exactly.
Well, he was the only quarterback that looked halfway decent last year. I mean, Maurer had a tough time in the offense. Garantano threw the ball to the other team when he threw it to ours. So, I mean, Harrison when he played, I thought he played fairly well for an 18-year-old kid.
Is Maurer still on the roster?
Yes.
Okay.
He got
So-
destroyed. Our offensive line got him just absolutely obliterated. He had like two concussions or some shit. Had a concussion and then come back and got another concussion.
Yep.
Kyle says, I read today that they want a mobile quarterback, so I don't know if that eliminates Harrison Bailey.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator, Alex Golish, did say that what they look for in a quarterback is somebody who can run, who is consistent, and who can make plays. Which, I mean, yeah, everybody wants Michael Vick, but, I mean...
What we want is a good quarterback. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Thanks for your help there, Coach.
I mean, if Peyton Manning wasn't a perfect example of a kind of quarterback that you want, I don't know what the fuck is.
Yeah, and I mean he never really ran a whole lot, but here's the thing: if Harrison, even though Harrison he doesn't really run all that much, like he's not really known for being that mobile. But if he can go out there and he's consistent and he gives you the best chance to win, he doesn't throw the ball to the other team. He can make big plays down the field. He's accurate, and accuracy was one thing that the coaches brought up. If he's the most accurate of the quarterbacks, I'd rather him be accurate than 4.5 speed.
Right. Yeah, I'd rather him throw touchdowns than have to run. You know what I mean?
I mean, also, is Emory Jones going to start at Florida? Probably, right?
Yeah, who else they got?
I think he's it now.
Yeah, Trask is gone.
I don't know. I haven't seen anybody that they brought in transfer wise.
I think they got a 5-star quarterback, but
He's gonna start at Georgia.
JT Daniels, you assume.
yeah, JT Daniels is going to start there, and they're going to put up a lot of points with him. I think he's a good quarterback.
And then
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Is that what was his name? Miles Brannon or something like that?
Oh, for
No,
LSU.
LSU.
Yeah,
They kind of
maybe.
sucked last year. They didn't look very good.
No, they were awful, and they gave
Yeah.
up like 700 yards to Mississippi State. They were not good.
So
Which
I
they
mean,
did lose their whole defense in the draft, though.
that's
And
true.
offensive line.
It's funny because Kyle's commenting, but there's a delay on the stream, so it's like his comments are like 10 seconds behind what we're talking about.
He was on here. He wouldn't be behind, motherfucker.
Always got something to do around here. All right. Well, I got nothing else.
Team USA sucks. Just about everything.
Well, I mean, we got the most medals still, right?
Yeah, and we got Kevin Durant, so I think we're good.
Oh, you're talking about just basketball.
I'm talking about anything. The girls'
Oh, okay.
soccer team shouldn't lose, and they lost. They lost
They lost.
the deal or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude from Norway killed that 400-meter hurdles, broke the world record.
I
Oh,
liked
wow.
how they had a 4x400 mixed relay, which is 2 men and 2 women, and Nigeria decided they were going to switch things up. So they had a man run the third leg and a woman run the fourth leg. So the man ran the third leg and gave Nigeria a at least 100-meter lead. And the woman from Nigeria gave up the 400-meter lead to not only first place America, but all subsequent 7 places behind it. She lost. She came in last.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle's here.
Was that him?
Yeah. He's not on camera, but I probably wouldn't join. I wouldn't join the camera though. You're gonna mess everything up. But we
Yeah,
can-
I don't want to mess up your camera. It'll jack everything up.
So what's up, bud?
Nothing. Just got done eating.
Always eating this guy.
Too busy
Yeah,
eating
man.
to answer the phone.
Napping and eating.
the two pastimes of Kyle.
That's right.
Kyle, why did the Vols suck?
True.
Coaching.
No, I was just wondering if you had anything other than
Isn't
Casey's
Alabama?
thoughts.
I showed Casey this trailer. This is what Kyle got me.
Oh,
Oh
no.
yeah.
Isn't Alabama the best? Actually,
I'm
I'm
gonna,
literally just wondering.
I'm gonna leave the stream if you keep
I mean,
talking.
statistically, aren't they the best?
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, we said that earlier if you'd been paying attention.
I tried, but I was too busy talking shit. I'm sorry.
No, I
Hey,
know
did you
that's the
guys
problem.
Did you guys see Ohio State's recruiting class?
No, is it
Dude,
crazy?
they have like the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 receiver, the number 1 running back, the number 1 interior offensive lineman, the number 2 and 3 defensive lineman. Like it's stacked right now.
Sounds about like my Tennessee Vols rebuild.
That's right.
I just keep bringing it up because Casey just looks away every time.
I seen Penn State had like 12 top 300 recruits, and Notre Dame had like 14. I was like, what the?
Damn.
Tennessee's got like 1 maybe. But
Your guys' time went.
we're gonna make up for it when we get the number 1 overall recruit.
24/7 Rivals moved him to number 2 overall in the country.
What? Who they put over him?
I don't know, and I don't care. 24/7's full of it.
What was that
Yeah.
guy's name? Waylon or something?
Walter
No.
Nolan.
Yeah.
Defensive
Typically,
lineman, right?
yeah. Like typically, they don't put quarterbacks number 1 in the recruiting, which is great. Usually, it's like a defensive lineman, like almost every single time. A defensive lineman and an offensive lineman.
Oh, from Powell. Roll Powell, Tennessee.
Hmm.
Is he from Tennessee or did he just move
Yeah.
to Tennessee?
I think he's from Tennessee, but then he moved to Knoxville anyway to play closer to UT.
Is there a camera?
No, because if I got my camera, I would check anything.
Yeah, it looks like he's being recruited by everyone in the nation.
That's
Yeah.
Wasn't
Maybe he's
Trey
the next
Smith
Aaron
there?
Donald.
Wasn't Trey Smith the number 1 recruit in the nation too?
Yeah,
I'm
he was
pretty
the number
sure
one
he was
offensive
an offensive
lineman.
but I don't know if he was number 1 overall.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he was just top 10. He may have been number 1 at one point, but I don't think he finished number 1.
trying to find the recruit rank.
Look at
We
Rob.
had Trevor Lawrence
Oh,
recruited
okay.
at one
That's
point.
on my
or
own 24/7.
I honestly like 247's recruiting the best. I don't know if they're the best, like as far as like 247, 24/7 is the same thing.
It's just wondering.
I feel like they update theirs the most.
This would be what, 21 class?
22.
Yeah. Is it 22?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't even see this pal guy.
Well, his last name's Nolan.
Or yeah, whatever his name is. Oh, he's all the way down to 6 now.
What? It's
Yeah,
because
they
they know he's going to go to Tennessee.
I say they heard he was going to Tennessee. They say they go, that can't be
I
right.
guarantee you, if he commits to Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State, he'll be number 1.
Right now, number 1 is Quinn Ewers,
That's
The-
the
Wait,
Ohio
is it-
quarterback.
Ohio State quarterback. Yeah.
He's not going to. He's sitting out his senior year.
Yeah,
And then-
he's changing to the 2021 class.
Oh,
Reclassify.
okay.
He wants to make money.
Travis Hunter, athlete from Swanee, Georgia, Ohio or Florida State commit.
Wonder how long he'll stay committed.
Until they fire him.
Somebody just decommitted from Ohio State as like the number 15 cornerback. Or number 15th overall prospect, but he's a cornerback.
Hey, there was a 4-star corner that just decommitted from Kentucky. That's
Can't go home.
I was
Yeah,
just
he-
about to say that.
Choose on whatever.
I heard.
All right. Well, what's up? So what's up with you guys hanging out? As far as stuff coming up on the podcast, UT Vols Dynasty continuing. Season 2 is being edited right now. We're hopefully gonna continue the Madden tournament that we had pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a few games in that, and then I'll have some clips out of this show throughout the week. So make sure you check those out as well.
Come on.
Casey, any final thoughts?
Trade deadline was nuts. We can talk about that next time. The MLB trade.
MLB. Yeah, we can talk about it now if you want. I don't care.
NBA free agency was pretty nuts too.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, that's what I was going to ask if you guys talked about the free agency.
We talked about the draft, which would have been your area of expertise.
Yeah. Partially, anyway. After like
What
pick 5,
the-
I didn't know much.
At least
I
you
feel
knew
like-
5.
I was about to say
Memphis-
after like pick 5 in the NBA draft, there's really not much else to know. Like,
Yeah, like- Memphis traded up to number 10 and then chose a kid at number 10 who was projected to go like in almost a second round. I was like, are you kidding me? Zaire Williams.
Yeah, Zaire Williams.
The Miami Heat, instead of trading for Kyle Lowry, were able to get him in free agency for nothing. So,
Oh, and then they signed and traded for DeMar DeRozan.
yeah.
He did?
85 mil, bro. 3 years.
Wow.
DeMar DeRozan is washed up, son.
And Jimmy Butler signed a maximum contract.
Oh, did you
Yeah.
see Steph Curry signed the Supermax for like $215 over like 4 years? So it was like 50-something million a year.
Jesus Christ.
And
He's the
Trae
first
Young
player to
signed
sign
five
two $200 million
for-
contracts.
Crazy
Lonzo
shit.
Ball.
The Lakers signed a bunch of 35 or older year olds.
Yeah, they got Westbrook though.
That's true.
Yeah, they got Howard, Ariza, Wayne
Yeah.
Ellington.
Yep. Oh, they got Melo.
Kent
They got
Bazemore. They
Carmelo.
Yeah, they got Carmelo.
I'm out. I don't even want to watch basketball.
Well, they're not. Melo is not that good anymore
I like Melo.
he was good in Portland. He was.
because he didn't have to touch the ball every play.
Right. He averaged like 16 a game or some shit.
No, that's more than I thought he did. I thought it was closer to like 12. But he played team ball for the first time in his career.
Crazy. Never thought I'd see it.
That's what I thought.
Chris Paul, smartest man alive, I guess.
4 years, $120 million. He's going to be 40 years old when that contract ends.
He turned down $45 million to sign a 4-year deal.
Because he's going to get an extra 80 out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be like an opt-out or something for Phoenix. Like something deep in that contract.
I don't know, dude. I feel like most, if not all, NBA contracts are like fully guaranteed.
It's true. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah. Fuck. Well, so that's for the Suns.
Yeah, I know. They'll be good for the next
I
couple
wonder
of
if
years.
he retires if they still have to pay him.
No, if you retire, I think like kind of like negates the contract. But then again, was it you telling me that Tony Romo retired in the NFL? They still had to pay him.
They sure did.
I mean, shit, the Mets are still paying that Bonilla guy.
Bobby
Bonilla.
Bonilla.
They paid him like 25 years. It's like $1 million and something like every fucking time they.
Dude, I want that guy as my agent.
$1.016 million a year. Once a year until 2026. And they've been paying it ever since he retired in like 08 or 01.
Just give me the .016 and I'll take it.
Right?
I'd be happy with $1.
I don't know what they did. They made it to where they pay his contract out over like 30 years.
Yeah.
It's probably smart on his half too, because he doesn't have to worry about blowing it all at one time. He can continually get the money and live off of it.
Yeah,
which I'm pretty sure he went on to play for another team and sign another contract. So
it was a buyout. I think he went to Baltimore after that, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a buyout because they didn't want him anymore, and instead of paying him all the money he wanted, they were just like, "Hey, we're going to pay you all the money once a year for the next 25 years."
Yeah, I take that too. That'd give me all the money at once.
Especially if I'm about to sign another contract, like hell yeah.
Yeah. If I'm about to sign another contract, then yeah. But if I'm not, it'd be hard not to take $25 million up front and just say, you know what, screw you guys.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably take the $1 million a year because then I know, you know.
Oh, absolutely. But that's, for me, that's kind of like hindsight. It's the much more intelligent thing to do. But at the time, if somebody says, hey, $25 million now or 25, once a year, or $1 million a year for the next 25 years, I don't know. Yeah. Somebody say $25 million.
You could probably got more for $25 million.
I'm about to say, let's all be honest. If someone said $25 for one lump sum or $1 over 25 years, we'd probably all take the $25 up front.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, a little bit, but mathematically, I mean, it's still the same arithmetic.
Still the same ratio.
$25 million back then was probably worth. I feel like now you can't get as much with $25 million as you could with $25 million back then.
If you can't get what you want for $25 million now or then, you got problems.
Oh, I mean, I understand that, but you know what I mean.
Oh, did you guys see the Dolphins camp fight?
For $25 million, now you get like a.
I mean the Giants camp fight.
No.
Oh yeah, Daniel Jones on the bottom.
Yeah, apparently, like Corey Clement had a pretty good run, and then somebody hit him really hard, and then Evan Ingram came up to pop the defensive guy, and then Logan Ryan went up and hit Evan Ingram, and the next thing you know, there's a brawl.
Cool. Hey, there's a lot of coaches that like the preseason fights. They know their guys are ready to go.
Joe Judge did not like it. He made him run 100-yard sprints for 2 minutes straight, and then he made him do push-ups, and then made him do another 100-yard sprints, and then more push-ups, all back to back to back to back.
Surprised he got grown men to go along with that, because I can see one of those guys as being like, you know what, screw off, coach.
All right.
I was trying to find the video without someone reacting to it, but it doesn't look like we're going to get.
It's all
Yeah,
right. You've already been copyrighted. Might as well.
Copyrighted.
It wouldn't on that.
Didn't you say you
Well,
were going home? And
It's only
doing
because
stuff?
it's an official. Those were like an official NFL broadcast or whatever. Like we could watch. We could watch, like, NFL training camp shit all day.
Oh yeah, like if a reporter tweeted it out, I mean it's basically public domain at that point.
Yeah. Or like if like a team put out a hype video or something, like we could watch the Tennessee Vols hype video for the next year or something. Like that's fine, but because it's a broadcast, we might be able to get away with college football, honestly, but definitely not NFL. They're pretty tight on their shit.
Dude, it happened so
Probably
fast. We
will.
were like 3 plays in, and they were like, "Nope."
Posers.
Yeah, I kind of thought that would happen, but who knows? Yeah,
They're
Any
probably
close-
gonna sue you for all the money you've made on the channel so far.
I know. Or they'll probably be like, "We're gonna take all future earnings or some shit," and then fucking one of the podcast takes off, and then we never make money off of it.
No,
No,
we're
no,
going to
no.
court. We're going to court.
No,
at
just,
this.
no, just delete the podcast and start over.
Oh yeah, true.
Just take all your uploads and re-upload them.
We're getting our 15 subscribers to go along with us.
Yeah, yeah. Shouldn't be too hard to convince
we
me,
know
just
all of them
Brandon,
pretty much,
Nikki
anyways.
and us 3 to go on.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Anything you want to leave on? All right.
That's all I
we'll
got.
we'll see you in the next one,
Hall
guys.
of
If
Fame
you-
game. Check out the Hall of Fame game.
when is that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm working. Oh well, it's Hall of Fame
It's a
game. No one-
preseason game. Nothing's gonna happen.
well, it's Hall of Fame game too. It's so much earlier than the other ones. I feel like no one really like.
It's
pays
football.
It's
Yeah.
live football.
First
I'm
time
gonna
in
watch it.
months. I'm watching it. Goddamn
I don't care if it's Stevie Wonder trying to tackle Ronnie Millsap. I'm gonna watch it.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are a very small channel, so
Like
any
and subscribe. Damn it.
any
Hey,
support
we
we
gained a
get.
subscriber.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But yeah, any subscribers we get are very important. So appreciate anyone watching, even if we do know who you are and you might be in the chat right now. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. See you later.
Sorry for being late.
Oh, you're good.